Hello, my name is Jeremy Clark. I'm a pilot, harbour master and project manager at Portsmouth International Port. Today we're talking about a berth auction application that we're hoping can be created to auction spare berths at our port. Our port consists of 7 berths, 5 traditional roll-on roll-off berths that cater for ferries, multi-decked, they'll cater for a ship with a bow door and a stern door, and 2 remaining lift-on lift-off berths for traditional, mostly refrigerated cargo ships, but increasingly container ships. Those berths are available 24 hours a day, but it is more normal for our ferry companies particularly to just be alongside those berths for up to 4, 8 or 12 hours a day, leaving the berths half occupied, and it is that half occupied that concerns us today. The owner will buy a 4-hour slot on one of our ro-ro berths, and should he stay more than the 4 hours of his allotted and bought for period, then we charge him for another 4 hours. So it's a little bit like an airport, if you like. You buy your landing slots, and that's exactly what we do here in Portsmouth. The slide you're looking at the moment is the old port of Portsmouth, the Camber Dock. Those are coal-carrying vessels, and it's at a time, or taken at a time, when the Royal Navy used steam generated by coal. They hadn't yet converted to oil. And it gives you a good idea of the challenge that we have in ports. Almost overnight, the Navy changed from coal to oil, so almost overnight there was no commercial activity for coal in the Portsmouth port. They had to adapt and they had to change, and that's exactly what we're having to do here in Portsmouth. What we're adapting and changing to now is the fact that vessels are getting larger and larger, and our port is not really a large ship port. So we adapt, we change, and one of the things we have to adapt and change to is a modern environment that's fast moving and adaptable. For that reason, we're looking at auctioning our berths. Now, what we do at the moment is invite companies to come into the port, and then they bid for slots on the berth, and those berths will be allocated to each company for over a year ahead, so they'll know where they're going. It's worked for us up till now, and the slide you're looking at the moment shows you just the 5 berths at the ro-ro part of the port, and each one of those will actually show the occupation on those berths. So if we go to the top, you've got Albert Johnson Quay, cruise berth, Flathouse Quay, and then link spans 1 to 5. So that's all the berths we've got here on the port. And you'll see that the Royal Clipper was on Flathouse Quay. Link span 1 was occupied by the Mont Saint-Michel, by the looks of it. And hence, all those white areas you can see there need to be sold. We need to get ships onto those berths. One of the things we need to give out is information. So on the slide you're seeing at the moment, we have 7 berths. Berth 1, as you can see, has a fast cat on it. Berth depth there is about 5 metres. The maximum length of vessel you can take on there is about 100 metres. Berths 2, 3, 4 and 5, the available depth of water is 7 metres, a little more on berth number 2, which we're adapting. And the length of vessel tends to be up to about 200 metres. We are extending berth 2 to take up to 250 metre long cruise liners. So what you will need to do as app developers is give the person using the app all the information they need on the one place. The berth availability, the length of ship that can go on the berth, the available depth of water on the berth, the costs of using the berth, the costs of pilotage, both inwards and outwards, the normal cost of tugs should they use it, the cost of stevedoring, the cost of purchasing fresh water, the availability of bunkers, and what they can and cannot do on the berth. On our website for Portsmouth International Port, you'll find something called Harbour Dues, Rates and Charges, which has all the information about the charges that are made on Portsmouth for the use of the port. The idea of this challenge is to bring the port up to date with what it does. Shipping is very traditional, it's very old-fashioned, and that's represented in the paperwork. That paperwork and the payment for ships and the payment of movements of goods is going to be addressed by blockchain in the very near future, where both banks and paperwork will be cut out, and the money for the goods will run with the goods with electronic transfer of documents and title. What we're looking at is the hard end, the hardware end, if you like, of all of this, using new technology to sell what we have available on the port. Interestingly, despite being a port, we are a service industry. Marketing a service industry is difficult because it's different. And what one has to look at is not the fact that one has 7 berths that you're trying to get ships onto, but the space-time relationship between the two. What you actually have is 7 berths for 24 hours a day. Once that 24 hours is gone, you're never going to be able to sell it again. It's gone, it's wasted. It's revenue that should have been there and wasn't. And the idea is that your app will address this problem and give ship owners, charterers, and the ship's captain the ability, even mid-channel, when he finds out his berth in another port is blocked or he can't come in for 12 hours, to pick up your app and say, this is my position. I see the position of Portsmouth. I see they have a berth available. I see it takes the length of my ship, and I see they have enough water. This is how much it's going to cost. I'm going to divert to Portsmouth, and I'm going to use that berth. Good luck with this challenge. Enjoy it, and I wish you well. Thank you.